I don't have a lot to begin with, guys. Obviously, wasn't the prettiest down the stretch. We found a way to do enough to get a win. Thought Dane's big 2-run homer after they'd gotten a 3 spot in the top of the inning there early on really changed the flow of the game. I thought Tyler Grauer really came in and stabilized the game for us. We were having a little trouble getting outs and keeping guys off base and seemed to be missing up in the zone a lot. It's not the type of game you want to play game one where there's so much offense and you use so much pitching, but that's the way the game went today.
Coach, thank you very much. Questions for the student athletes here? Just please identify yourself and your affiliation.
Todd Golden with the Terre Haute Tribune Star. Tyler, tell me about your 4-inning outing, which is your longest of the year. McNeese put a lot of pressure on getting runners on base. What was your approach to try to deal with their base runners and not letting that pressure that they were putting on get to you?
Just mix up my leg, mix it up, mess with their timing on base, just do me, throw strikes, pound the zone, and pretty much that's all I did, let my defense work behind me, just mix up my leg.
Is that something you can get used to as you pitch, dealing with, usually you have no more than 1 or 2 runners on, but can you get used to that as a pitcher to pitch in that situation?
Yeah, we prepare. Coach Teagues works with us in practice with mixing up our timing and letting us know ahead of time who we have on base and who's in the lineup and who we have to pay attention to, and that's how we work on it. And Coach will let us know from the dugout if it's a quick leg guy or a slow leg guy or your normal tempo.
This one's for Dane. Dane, McNeese brought in the right-hander to face you on the at-bat. You got the home run. Tell me about your approach and what you saw on the pitch that you hit the home run on.
I just went in there and I figured I was going to get a lot of off-speed from him. I had been seeing it in my 2 previous at-bats as well. And I just fought off a couple tough pitches, and I finally got a fastball there towards the end of the count.
Given the situation of the game, like Mitch was saying, they had to put up a 3 spot. What did that do to the dugout at that stage of the game to kind of give you guys a lift? Obviously, with the guys.
I mean, yeah, you can feel in some of the guys there, but I mean, they got quick 2 outs there, and then I think Max did a great job of extending that inning and then getting me up at the end there.
Adam Sparks, Tennessee, and if I understand it right, the program has not had an NCAA tournament win since '95. Were you guys aware of that, and what does that mean to break that streak?
Well, I mean, we were aware of it this past weekend when we won the MVCs. We won the MVCs the last time in 1995 as well. I think we were aware of it back then, but it didn't really affect us. We just wanted to come in and play.
Dane, for you, Tyler, you can jump in on this too if you want. Those games are tough to get through, but when you get through them with a win, what does it do for the rest of the regional in terms of, obviously preparing you guys for how tough it is to get through one of these?
Yeah, it's nice to get out there with a win for sure. We didn't use up a ton of pitching. We didn't use a lot of guys, and we had 2 guys come in there and they just pounded the strike zone and did their job, and that's all we can hope for.
David Berry, American Press. Dane, you guys, it seemed like there were a few innings that McNeese would get 2 quick outs, and then you guys kind of went to work. Just how big were those just 2-out rallies that you all had?
Yeah, I mean, our mindset's always been, the inning's not over until they get that last out. So, that's something coaches preached all year, just to keep going, even though we got 2. We've had numerous 2-out rallies throughout the season, and I think that's been a big part of our program.
A couple more questions for the student athletes? Gentlemen, thank you very much. Okay, go right ahead.
Mitch, going back a little ways, second time around in the order against Aiden Anderson made a big difference. That's kind of been a trend with your club lately. What were they seeing, and what did they take advantage of at that point?
Well, he was pitching backwards, throwing a lot of breaking balls and fastball counts or change-ups, a lot of fastballs and off-speed counts, and we've seen so much of that the last 3 or 4 weeks that I think the guys are really in tune to it. I just felt that when we got through those first 9, we rolled back around, he wasn't getting us to swing and miss much, so I felt like we would get on him. Still disappointed. We go 5 straight hits, and then we have a base running error, which really turned that inning a little bit. I think we could have done a lot more in that 3rd inning, but we screwed up on the bases, and that inning died at 3 runs.
Sonny Folks from Press Pros in Columbus. I'm curious as to how much you know about either one of these next 2 teams. I know you were over there last fall in fall baseball and got an afternoon's worth with Ohio State, but how do you get information about either one of the 2 teams in this scenario to look forward and prepare for?
Well, we use some various scouting resources that we have, so literally we're able to pull up tons of video on these guys through the program that we have, and we can watch. I mean, we've watched hundreds of at-bats on guys. We've watched pitchers throw countless pitches with runners on, with nobody on, with different situations. We've watched their pickoff moves. So I mean, there's so much information out there today. It's unbelievable how much you can get ahead of time. We did play Vanderbilt about 3 weeks ago. I think about 3 weeks ago. So we're very familiar with them. So I think from the standpoint of getting information in today's game, it's very accessible, much more so than ever before. We know a lot more about Vanderbilt probably, and McNeese just from just digging in and having played Vanderbilt. Not as much about Ohio State, but obviously we'll go back and start watching film on both teams.
Mitch, what do you think the overriding difference was for Tyler in his outing? He's been good all year. Hasn't had to go 4, but what made him be able to kind of bulldog his way through some tough innings?
I think sometimes when a guy has a pretty good out pitch, which is that change-up for him, I feel like these young players a lot of times fall in love with it and they get away from the fastball, and then you lose your ability to keep a hitter honest. I thought really the difference was his 8th inning, where you guys noticed he threw a lot more fastballs in that inning by design. And then in the 9th, you have a changeup as an out pitch, but you also have the wind blowing out, and you got the power part of their order. So you saw a few more fastballs late in the count in the 9th as well. Just feeling that if we located them, even if they put it in play, they'd have a hard time hitting it out the park. Whereas that changeup, if it stays up, it's a tie game. So I think it's his ability to understand situations, which he's been good at all year. And then our pitching coach, Coach Tiggs, putting him in a chance to succeed in that moment. We even talked about, even the last hitter. We throw the 1-2 fastball in that he fouls off, and I told Coach Tiggs that's his last pitch in that at bat. I didn't want to give him another opportunity to pull side home run late in the game. Obviously, you want to make a guy hit a pitch down and away if they're going to hit it out on you. So that's kind of what Tyler did really well today. And when you extend their pitch count, I didn't know what we were going to get in the 8th and 9th because we extended him a little bit, but he was really good those last 2 innings. Seemed like he got a little stronger.
Coach, I know you've been part of big postseasons as a player, assistant coach, and head coach. I think your first year. How important was it for you to not only get back but to win at this level?
Well, I think there's a pride thing that goes into all of this, and as much as you win a conference tournament and you go to an NCAA tournament, there's a very hollow feeling when you come in and don't play well. I think any team that would tell you that has been in it. And there's also a very hollow feeling when you get to the championship game and don't win it. So, you're still not going to come. I think a lot of people think that these guys are going to come in and, hey, they had a good year and they're going to go out and feel good. If you're a competitor, it gets to you if you lose those close games or you come in and you go 0-2. So I'm just thankful that we got the first one out of the way. And obviously you want to build some momentum as you go deeper into the tournament as well. And I think Todd heard me say after last week, your momentum is only as good as your next start on the mound, and I was really thinking about that when we started to scuffle a bit in the 4th, 5th inning, because everything that you do has an overriding effect on the mentality of a team. And I think that's the important thing as you sit there and you make moves and you do things as a head coach. Everything has some type of effect on the overall mentality of your club, and you just hope that you can maintain some momentum and bring guys that give you a chance so that you can get that W. And then hopefully your guys kind of get that same mindset too. Hey, we're here to win this daggone thing. We're not here just to play because we won our conference tournament.
Yeah, Mitch, along those same lines, when Coach Hill was in here, he said, from their perspective, they felt like they were basically one play away from, having the result reversed. For all of that you've done this year, this was the first experience for your guys to play in a regional. And obviously McNeese pushed quite a bit. What do you think was the main thing that they learned from having played this game and getting that kind of first regional game they've ever played out of the way, with a successful effort, but one where they got pushed in too?
Yeah, I don't think our guys were – I think they believed coming in that this was going to be a good game. I mean, we really didn't look at records or where someone was at in their conference where they finished. We knew this would be a tough game. And obviously as you get into it and get going, I could just see the mood in our dugout. You could tell our guys knew we were in a dogfight. And so I think the more dogfights that you can come out of and win and overcome some things, I'm still kicking myself. We're 3-1 on the two-hitter. And all year we've done a really good job of changing depth in the outfield and hitters counts, and we get caught shallow. We get a ball over our head that ends up being a triple. So, I mean, we made some mistakes as a coaching staff, too, that we got to clean up. But I thought our players did a really good job battling through things. And I think every one of these you get through, you maintain that momentum. And it's always good to get the first one under your belt. Always good.
Mitch, there's 10 SEC teams in this tournament. There's 5 from the Big Ten, and there's so much made up home about Indiana and Illinois, of course, and Michigan and Nebraska this year. You don't hear a whole lot about Missouri Valley baseball. Is that a motivation for you that you're not talking about, or is it something you just say, forget about it, they got to play the same as us?
No, it is what it is. I mean, probably should have been 11 SEC teams in. Big Ten got 5. I mean, those conferences are what they are. I mean, we have a lot of respect for the SEC. We have a lot of respect for the teams that we played in the Big Ten this year. And, we played Rutgers and Michigan State, some of the teams toward the bottom, and I can tell you those are solid clubs. So I think in college baseball today, I think there's a lot more parity than people would think. Last score I had, Illinois State was up 4-2 on Indiana in the 6th inning. I think what people fail to recognize is how good the top of our conference is and the type of baseball that's played. But, I wouldn't take anything away from those other leagues. We know how capable they are.